Hello there. It is time for Trek. Star Trek. The Resurgence. Alright. So this is Star Trek Resurgence. Game that just came out on Steam not too long ago, a few days ago. Even though it was out on Epic for I think a year before this. So some people already know what happens. I'm not really familiar with the game that much, but actually I don't even know if it's supposed to be a good game or not. I guess I'm gonna find out here. Anyway, I know this is a choose your own adventure telltale style of game. I used to be really into those types of games. Then they kind of fell out of favor with me. So it's been a long time since I played a game like this. But this should be interesting. Choices matter. Or do they? We'll find out. Choices didn't seem to matter in Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm just saying. Alright, anyway. Actually, one thing I do want to mention here real quick. I also play Star Trek Online. So, if you bought the game on Steam, you get an extra goodie from this game for Star Trek Online. And just kind of cover that real quick here in case anybody's wondering how that works. You get a code for a Federation Elite Starter Pack. I kind of made a mistaken assumption yesterday. I thought it was an Elite Services Pack. It's not. It's the Federation Starter Pack, which is actually not a bad pack to have if you're new to Star Trek Online. It's a good pack to have. It gets you expanded inventory, bank slots, Starfleet Academy uniform, some basic weapon gear to start off with, and a pretty decent Tier 6 ship to use, the Reliant class, which is a nice little ship. It's a nice, good starter ship to have in the game, so. And in case you're wondering how you redeem that, I did this last night to see how this worked here, and I already redeemed it for myself, because I actually had the pack already. Then I redeemed it again, but I still took the inventory slots, and that's always nice to have. Anyway, you want to go to choices here. You're going to get this thing that's going to pop up here. The code doesn't mean anything's already redeemed it, so. But you're going to make an account as Star Trek Resurgence. And then you're going to need to do this actual link here. Then put the code in. Then you'll get emailed the code for the pack. And then you go to the ARC website, where you should have your account already. Go in there, redeem the code there, and bada boom, it'll be in your account on Star Trek Online. And the important thing to remember is that... Come on. Apparently I am having issues with my control panel on here. First step. You have to be a Federation aligned character for the pack to be redeemed, so don't forget about that. So there we go. Get rid of that garbage. Now my dumbass bot solicitors think that's okay to jump into my chat and throw bullshit around. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. Anyway, that's how that works, in case you're wondering. So, like I said, if you want to try out Star Trek Online, you bought the game and you want to try out Star Trek Online, it's free to jump in, and then you have the Elite Starter Pack to start off with. It's a good start. So anyway, yeah, I've already looked at the settings here. Playing 1440p. I turned motion blur off. Subtitles should be on. I think the sound is okay. I didn't technically do anything in the game. You can tour the ship. The ship is called the Resolute. Toured it. It is a Centaur refit. Well, they're calling it a Centaur refit in STO. So, by the way, if you want to make the Reliant class ship you get from the pack look like the Resolute, it's the Centaur refit skin in the game, which they just added in also. So, but anyway, enough about that. Let's actually play this game and see what we got going on here. 3 save slots, that's fine. Begin? Yeah, begin. A narrative Star Trek game. Let's see how this works out. This is a dramatic labs adventure. Relationship adventure about experience will be shaped by the choices you make. So it's not Telltale. It's a different company that made this. So. Dramatic labs. Can you feel the drama?
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Except when we fly ourselves into an ion storm. Because you weren't paying attention. I'm looking out the window. Oh, right. No, I don't have controller equipped. Why is it doing that? I'm using keyboard and mouse game.
No problem.
First mistake.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
I've dealt with the Borg. I've dealt with time travelers and... what's his face? Daniels. Yeah, Daniels is worse. Oh, well, this is not my character, Missio. I don't know what I'm saying.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this.
It's not that ship.
But if she's half the officer I knew...
That's a Miranda class.
She was a cadet at Starfleet Academy. She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
That Steam Runner's Bussards are not on. Why is that? And a nice Excelsior. Excelsior class and Nova class. So I'm assuming we're kind of in like sort of a post DS9, maybe around First Contact era of the timeline here. Check in on security. Yes, pockets. I guess I'm playing this character. The new commander. So I can tell you from doing the ship exploration thing, which I did last night, the camera is a bit janky. I think the graphics look okay, but I think they could have... There are some areas where I think they could have had some higher resolution textures on some things. I'll probably point that out when we explore. Window. Interact with the window? No. Oh, interact with the library.
Starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Starbase 128. Support services. Okay, sure, let me do... Okay, well, I can't really run yet. I swear that there is a run button. I guess I just can't use it yet.
Commander?
Yep, Commander.
I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
Explain.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not
Tell
just
me.
in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the academy.
Only the top 20.
So, there's that.
Only top 20, huh? So I guess there's room for improvement.
Well, it's really, really hard.
So I've heard.
I would like to know more, but okay. Don't tell me, game.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds. Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did.
You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really...
I'm trying to figure out what species she
It's an honor
is.
to meet you, Commander.
I was trying to look at the
Sorry.
display.
I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure's mine. Ensign,
Paul Calloway.
good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Can I go back and look at the display? Oh, it's gone. I only saw what she was like 42% human DNA. I didn't see what the rest was. Yeah. We are somewhere.
Good day, Commander.
Yeah, see that is the Resolute. Also, this is probably hard to tell, but this is kind of where I think the textures probably could have been a little better, especially with these panels. They are a bit low res for me, so you can't really read them very well. Kind of see the text is a little blurry on these things. Yeah, I can jog now.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian. So I'm
Looking for a
looking
Bolian.
something
I see
with
one.
skin.
See a Bolian over there. Steps. Who's this?
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
See you later, red shirt. Actually, he's a ensign, I think. I'm trying to remember my pips here. Yeah, see, this is where I think the camera gets kind of janky a little bit. It's like... It makes me kind of wish there was a first-person mode in the game. It just, you know, kind of eliminate half the problem by just going into first person here. But we have to do this in third person like this, and I can't adjust, and I cannot adjust the camera view distance here either. So we're kind of stuck with this perspective.
Excuse me. Have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Oh yeah, I knew that already.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
Yeah, because I have no eyes, I can't see.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
That's... Yes, because it has 4 spires, so 4 docks. Yeah. And yes, again, what's this?
I'll replicate
Good
myself
food?
a meal once I'm on board.
Ah, come on, what kind of food is it? Looks like a piece of ham, a potato, and a piece of bread, and I can't tell if there's like a piece of scallion or garlic. Yeah, that's just bread on a platter there. This dude's staring at us like, God damn, replicated bread? Really? Can't you make real bread on the starbase?
Excuse me.
Ah, what species are you? The magenta-skinned people. I've never seen magenta. Okay, that's a new one. I haven't seen magenta-skinned people in Star Trek. Well, maybe there has been. I just don't remember. Anyway, here's our bullion. And a loading screen.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now.
It's
I
fine.
know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all,
Oh, tell me more.
to our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
There she is.
The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
That's a pretty serious accident.
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Okay.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Oh, W.
Stuck.
Get some calcite in there. Find your plasma torch. Cool. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with engineering tools in Star Trek. Maybe this thing? Yeah, plasma torch. There we go. is... Oh, okay. Trying to figure out what I was supposed to do there. So, okay, so you hold the button down, and you have to get your mouse cursor in the circle and hold it there. The game is going to try to force it out of the circle, so that's how this works. There you go. Twist.
Is that?
Hey, it's the Lower Decks episode.
I thought that thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Millie.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
That's not engineering. Okay, so I guess I'm playing this guy now. Also, despite, you know, that Nvidia is telling me I'm doing like 60 FPS here, it does seem like the frame rate is dropping in-game a little bit every now and then. So, I don't know what's up with that. But then again, it's not really an action-based game, so I guess I'm okay.
Erosion in there was pretty extreme.
I just want to look,
Nothing
man.
I couldn't handle, though.
I want to look around. Yeah, this is the shuttle bay. It's placed directly in the front end of the ship, which is a little... kind of a weird place to put the shuttle bay, but it's not
Carter Diaz!
uncalled. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm trying to look, man. Stop rushing me.
Good to see her fully operational again. And if she breaks, we'll just fix her.
Yeah, see this wall panel here? This needs to be higher resolution. It looks almost PlayStation 2 quality of resolution there.
Hurry up!
I don't know, this way. I can't do the run button.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You're not gonna take that with you the whole way, are you?
Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little? 6 months of putting this ship back together is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are. Just about ready to go.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovok.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Edsalar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsalar on repeated
Very
occasions.
singular. So we're irreplaceable? Is that what you're
So
saying?
you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Commander, if this energy storm is causing problems here at Space Dock, what does that say about what we're gonna find when we head out there for real? Shouldn't we let this storm pass?
Long-range sensors show that conditions will indeed be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. Thusly, we are taking all necessary precautions. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak.
Okay, suit
All
up.
hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means?
Means everybody get to your
This
jobs.
ship isn't ready to go out, and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
You won't get an argument from me, Nelly. Sure seems like everyone's still scrambling.
And I get it. When has a relaunch ever gone off without a hitch? But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
It's gonna stare at my helmet. So I'm assuming when I get like the green character pop up, that's a positive interaction, and a red is a negative interaction. I'm just making an assumption here. Also, press the enter key because that came up a while ago and I wasn't able to do anything here. Jara made a good first impression with our mods. In Callaway. So were there people I missed talking to? Heard Chovak found Clara to be cheeky and cavalier. The Vulcans do not like such attitudes. I don't need her to controls here. Just we're wondering. Modes. Basic movement control. Yes, there is shooting in this game. There is a stealth system. We'll see how that works. Tricorder. Taser. Shuttle control. I have the shuttle. And transporter. I get to control the transporter. Okay. Right, anyway. Resume here. Give me that helmet.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go. See you on the other side.
She's not coming with us. Why is she saying that? Button. I just pressed the button. See, walking outside the ship, this would actually be cool if I could do this in first person. Now we can't do that. We have to look at this, people.
Let's go.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of Duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of Duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Yeah, hot bananas. I could go for a hot banana right now. Can't do anything with the replicator? Oh, I can use it.
Just
give me a hot banana. Rachigino. Yeah.
Ractigino. That sure has a kick.
Spicy.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I assume you mean the accident.
That's right. The tragic accident, really. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there. Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO. I think that cost me his confidence.
Oh.
I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account.
I don't plan to.
But once we
I didn't
decide
plan
on the
to.
course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look,
You are the captain.
we can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggested several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
But are we prepared to embark on the mission?
As much as I'd like to think that's true, I have my doubts. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure.
Maybe I'll just take your ship.
What might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember.
What do you want to bet this guy's gonna die and then
To become a
this
captain
character
someday.
takes over the ship?
You're willing to do the work?
I think it's a high chance of that
I
happening.
promise I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
But we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. We may just stay commander. Anyway, I want to bug around the captain's ready room. He has a lot of... He has rocks. The model train. And just random isolinear chips laying on the table, you know? Rocks. Also, if you go back here, the conference room is back here. Or, no, I can't go back there. I'm getting stuck on an invisible wall. Never mind. I wanted to look at the conference room, but I guess not happening. Fine. Bridge. I'll go to the bridge.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
You've heard of me?
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves. And you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done.
I don't know what to say. That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
I get to sit in the chair. Can I talk to anybody and just to say hi or anything? No. Nothing. Okay. What is this? Tactical hollow. This thing.
Tactical hollow dais. Just like they've got on the Excelsior.
Oh, is that what this thing is called? I mean, I'm trying to think back to the bridge of the Excelsior. Like, the only thing I can remember is what it looked like in Star Trek 6, and that was a table that Sulu was keeping his tea on. That was a table, not a... I don't think it was a holographic dais. But yeah, I guess you could put your tea on here if you wanted to.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm.
You...
Just need your go-ahead.
Okay.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field.
I assume the engineer knows what he's doing.
Maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter. Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine.
Now, what are you complaining about? We got the best seat in the house out here.
We're the lower deckers, we get to see everything.
I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere. See new worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Your hypo spanner. Oh, recalibration.
Beginning recalibration.
I'm assuming I'm doing this right. Because I can't move it while I'm holding the mouse button
Too
down.
much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
What am I... Oh, I'm supposed to get in the middle? Trying to do? Okay.
Looks good.
Alright.
That wasn't so hard.
Except for the trial and error there. Is that red light supposed to be flashing?
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I am the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out.
Good.
Better than just about anyone.
What a very impressive list of credentials.
This is a research and discovery ship, first and foremost. Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then?
Mm-hmm.
You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
Captain Solano's familiar with my condition. I'm sure it factored into his decision. So I'd have to say it's not a problem.
But we should probably have a contingency plan just in case. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
Well, why don't we be
Hey, we
friends?
just met. You might like me after you get to know me.
They say familiarity breeds contempt, but who knows? Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into.
Guess maybe that was a neutral reaction?
Unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns,
Red blinking light?
we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
Lots of red blinking lights are going off. That's not good. The solar storm, ion storm acting up.
Energy wave inbound. On screen.
Okay.
Tracing its trajectory. Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are
Oh,
fluctuating.
still attached to the
coming in waves.
starbase.
And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy. Like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Red alert.
Aye. Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
Can we do that?
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
So I have to choose between these two.
One shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
Which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Deflector pulse, do it.
Commander Westbrook, use the deflector dish.
Already working on it. Optimal timing displayed. It's going to be tight.
Good. Send the pulse on my command. Now.
I keep forgetting I need to keep my hand on the mouse.
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
What about the people outside? Are they just gonna get mushed?
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
Blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Okay. I'm sure I know what I'm doing. Alright.
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Oh, phaser. Okay. Yay, phasers.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Ah, come on, it'll be fun. Use your phaser again to clear a path. Oh, I have a timer. Timer's ticking down. Are you shooting, girl? Don't let me do all the work. Whoa.
We're almost to the regulator.
Ow.
Are you alright?
Yeah. So
That one snuck up behind me. I didn't see it.
That damaged your suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%.
Yeah, I figured that.
we're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
think that's good.
EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can...
Docking clamps are coming off. Go.
DS to bridge. We just lost the docking clamp. We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
We have crew outside and are looking for the safest way.
We have people on this station. If that mooring arm breaks, we could lose dozens of crew.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
Yeah, Tevers.
Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
I know Captain didn't like that, but whatever. Let's not kill my other playable character yet.
We are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining dock.
So hold on to something.
And deactivate your
Yeah, Tevers. Yeah, see, they got Tevers.
Understood.
That's what they should have in space.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Oh, come on. Damn it, the mouse.
1. Mark.
It is so slow to move the mouse. And they're giving me a freaking timer. Ugh. Oh.
Grab my hand. I got you.
Thank you.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
Come on. Put some effort into it, man. Oh. Yeah. Yes, four hands is better than 2.
I got you. Petty Officer Etzelar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
Can we use emergency transporters and just beam them back?
Nearest airlock.
There's an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edsolar there to access the interior.
Okay, I'll assume transporters don't work.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this.
All right.
Get in there.
You better be right behind me.
Of course it gets stuck. We have a sick bay. I think it's functioning.
We're in.
They're safe, bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Hey, protected the ship. No casualties. I'll take that. Take that as a win. At least I think we have no casualties.
I'm okay. I'm okay. But Edsolar.
Here, let me help you. Medical. We've got one wounded at my location. Millie.
Oh, man.
We'll see you at sickbay.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Mm-hmm. We're about to get the talk.
You disobeyed my orders.
Yes, I did.
Well?
I'm sorry for that, Captain. I
You
did what I thought was...
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Captain, I told you I'd be honest, so here it is. Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermont, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.
Not a very tall ship. Just saying.
All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
Look at our giant viewport.
Prepare to go to warp 8.
Our giant weak point on the bridge.
You take this one.
Me?
You want me to say engage? Engage.
Engage.
Let's do it the Picard way.
Simple, but effective.
Whoa. Careful.
Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look fine.
Oh, we got a mood ring that tells us when we are low on insulin. I guess we're.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Like, why not just carry around the injector or whatever it is you need with him?
Help me get her inside!
Oh, I guess you have to have that thing on you. Oh, we need a blood transfusion or something like that.
That was
That's
quite a
fun.
scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on her, but she'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your deuterium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the Duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet, and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition. I've seen it happen before.
Okay, I just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't choose anything. So it just stops and goes to a gray screen. And waits for me to choose, but yeah.
I think after what happened, Captain Solano's learned his lesson. And whatever ambition he once had is on hold for a while.
He may say that, but we'll see what happens. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship, and everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
And my work here is done.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be lurking outside of sickbay. I didn't want to intrude, so it felt more appropriate to wait out here. We were all worried about you. Or I should say I was. I wasn't sure what was happening at first. But then I realized it was your condition.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you. It's just part of who I am.
Well, being a jerk sometimes is part of who I am. So, I'm sorry for that. You trusted my intuition earlier, with the deflector pulse. I felt I should thank you for that.
Well, thank you for coming. Even though you didn't have to.
I wanted to.
Complete the diagnostic sequence, and this shuttle will be cleared for service.
Yes, sir.
The storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters, so we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
Excuse me, Commander Chobach.
Petty Officer Maris, I will leave you to your work.
I stopped by sickbay and saw Millie. I figured you'd want to know.
Did the doc get her fixed up?
She's stable. But there's something about the storm's radiation that's making it hard to heal the energy burns.
That doesn't sound good.
She's toughing it out. Dr. Duval said she'll be back on duty soon, though.
What was that?
Come on.
I can't hear you over the sound of all these imaginary people making noise in the background.
I can't stay long. I've got a long to-do list before we get to Hotari, and things are piling on faster than I can check them off. We're making all our last-minute checks and security, too.
Well, nothing's ever 100%, but we'll be good to go.
And if you wait until you are ready, it's probably too late. Which is why I didn't want to wait for just the right time. I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Nilly almost got killed out on the hull. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you.
What? Tell me what?
Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
Wait, are you angry at me or something?
Oh, no, not that. I'm sorry. I'm probably making too big of a deal here. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
Feminine wiles are acting up. Well, that's surprising. That's so soon.
Kind of unexpected.
I didn't expect this either. But here we are. And I didn't want to ignore it. I just figured I'd steer right into it.
So we got romance already?
I've been about as direct as I can stomach. You can do that too.
Sure, I'll see where this goes.
I like you too, Miranda.
Let's see what happens here.
Okay. I was really hoping you'd say that.
This means you're probably gonna die.
These are uncharted territories.
I'd call it a chemistry experiment.
Making out in the shuttlecraft. Should we mention something?
Inquiring minds are gonna want to know about this, so... Do you tell Nilly, or do I?
I wouldn't worry about that.
Hey, maybe Nilly has a crush on him. I don't know that.
Get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Can't blame them.
I'll be seeing you.
I'll reserve a shuttlecraft just for the two of us. And we'll turn the gravity off. And then we can cut away as soon as the romance starts.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Yeah, that was very close to the asteroids, dude. Come on. You already hit one.
We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
I don't... What do you want me to do, game? Oh, I'm gonna spin my mouse, so...
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
Get a tractor beam on them?
We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Oh, here's this guy. Remember him?
You good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's from the Excelsior.
Come on, Diaz. First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
No, it can't be the Excelsior. Is it? Let's see, the original Excelsior should have been out of service by now.
debris.
I'm on it.
To deflect penetrance. Mouse. This other one. Thing is, I really got to move the mouse a lot to do this, and it's kind of annoying. Because I don't have that much space on my mouse pad.
That's gonna take out the shuttle.
I want to do something about that.
Piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
Taser.
I believe so.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Shouldn't the helmsman be doing that? Shield. Yeah, that's what I did. Oh. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be the job of the helmsman.
Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
NCT 2003. Yeah, it's from the original Excelsior. And
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
surprise, surprise.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock.
It is a sprick.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Okay.
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer...
Carter? Carter Diaz. Sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz.
I mean, it's
I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
I mean, it's not Leonard Nimoy, obviously. It's close enough, I would say.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Otari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
Yeah, you had a
It
shuttlecraft.
has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Something new to storm, I would guess.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
We'll take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you. Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Whoa. So here's the conference room, which I was gonna try to show earlier, but I couldn't.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Ilidia and Hotari. The Ilidians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Ilidians have shared a mining operation there. The Ilidians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Ilidians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Ilidians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence, but it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Ilidian fleet in open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mine.
Yes, isn't there a Ferengi rule of acquisition for that? Peace is good for business.
That is correct.
I'll be with the captain for now.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Ilidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Ilidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Okay.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That kind of makes us involved a little bit, doesn't it?
So we've already played a part in this.
Unfortunately, that is indeed the case, Commander Rydek.
We're morally obligated to make this right.
Hold on. Our only obligation is to negotiate the peaceful resolution of this conflict.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Ilidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Ilidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't?
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way.
But I'm still...
It helps in this case.
Okay, I don't really understand it. I'm still a Starfleet officer. I'm still representing the Federation. What I'm doing here. That seems like kind of a weird suggestion here, Spock.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not just included. You are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Now, if you want me to go, like, undercover and pretend I'm not Starfleet, okay, maybe I could do that, but just... If that's what you mean, then just say that.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him.
You sound like you're still
the entirety
interested.
of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
Fine, I want to do it.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
One nice thing about Vulcans. Chovak is the only person who didn't look at this and treat me like I was something to pity.
Don't they have thermal regenerators
Doc
to
says I
fix
should get used to it.
that? Hey, it's a battle scar. You look tough now.
Of the day.
Hey, you won't get pity from me. I think it makes you look tough. As tough as you really are, that is.
And that makes you sound pretty smart. I might need you to save me from myself next time, though. Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
I am the master of pushing buttons. Yeah, this button. Push this button.
So, know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up.
Oh, you
Because
shut me out in your lock?
Unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Buttons.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
Warp coils. Warp coils.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
I want to poke my head inside this old-timey warp drive here. Use the tricord. Okay. About the other side. Hey, this engine has no warp coils in it. That must be the problem. Well, that was an easy fix. Let's put some warp coils in here. Alright, okay. What am I really supposed to do here? Oh, okay. Deep scan. There's some chemicals. That everything? I think that's everything.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Oh, a space romance. A love triangle episode. Hi.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No, but I am glad you came by.
No, that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't know, maybe when horses were around.
You don't want to miss your train.
See the comparison.
I do have to go.
I mean,
Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now.
technically, the red shirts wear yellow these days, so...
Do me a favor.
Don't die out there.
Back safe.
Deal. Be seeing you.
Etzelarda Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it.
I'll take the entire shuttle apart and put it back together again.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer's putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, What if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Give me maximum power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
No, that's good to know.
We can't leave Hotari space.
You should probably let somebody know about that, like the chief engineer. So basically you have some kind of warp dampening field in place around this area. Looks like you can't go above a certain warp threshold or something like that. Or if they try to go above a certain threshold, it just breaks their warp drive.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you have come. My name is Tyler Saltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours. And this is Commander Jara Rydek, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind.
Okay, you introduced the captain first, but okay. Fine.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
Yeah, let's just hold off on judgment.
But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I
Um,
thought they wanted us here.
Are we whispering?
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
She can hear you.
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She
part
can
of...
speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
I can, yeah. I'm suddenly way more important than I probably should be, but okay.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
I'm here as part of the Federation, so I'm going to seek peace. That's what I'm going to do.
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's really not my place to say what the Federation's interests might be.
You are their representative.
Well, technically, Spock is.
But Ambassador Spock is better suited to address your concerns.
He's the one whose job is to do
What
this.
they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Elydian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Alidians?
Fuck. Just...
Only be one or the other, not both.
I'm like the third person here who should be deciding this. First person should be Spock. Second person should be the captain. And then lastly, I'm the third choice here. So why are we jumping straight to me here? Doing some, the writing is doing some hula hoops here to justify having the commander make these very important decisions. When two other people here should be on the higher priority here to make these choices here. Fine. I'm gonna go to Hotari. Let's go Hotari, see what happens.
I have to choose only one.
The Hotari invited us, so we'll go outside with them.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
Mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred.
It's not a credible decision because you put it on the wrong person to decide.
Blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Rydek.
Or there wasn't really any correct option there from what I saw, so it's like, fine, I'll just pick one. You want me to flip coin?
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Honestly, I'm wondering where would be a good point to cut off here. Actually, I got freedom now. Alright. Where are we at here? Captain. I guess we're kind of reviewing choices here. Yeah, so even though I didn't go with Lieutenant Bedrosian's choice, she still respects my decision, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Not sure, question, okay, good. Yeah, see, Chovak was a preferred. I just did what the captain said. Fine. Why was she angry over his going first in the hole? She told him to go first. She should not be angry about that. Like, come on. And one other character I guess we have not been introduced to yet. Alright, so... yeah... Alright, so I'm gonna assume if I go back to the main menu, it will just autosave here. Let me see. Choices. Oh yeah. It's not gonna tell me. This is weird because why don't they just show me the choices in the game? Why do I gotta go to the website to look at the choices I made? That's just a weird design decision here. I don't know why we did it that way. Click that, it'll take me back to seat of power. Let me see if do I have to redo that thing in the okay, no, it stopped me right here. That's good. Alright, so I'm gonna stop here. We're a couple hours in on this now, so far, you know, I've been enjoying it. I have to accept that this is just a choose your own adventure type of game. It's not gonna play like an action game. It's not gonna play like a proper third-person explorer game. So I got to accept that. I will say I'm a little annoyed by some of the puzzles. Because some of the things that involve the use of the mouse, they intentionally slow down the mouse cursor so much that it's like, I really gotta push my mouse up, like 12 inches in order to move like a tiny bit on the screen, and that just really kind of annoys me. But you know, besides some jankiness with the camera, you know what, I'm okay with it so far. You know, we'll see how much the choices matter as you progress into the game here. I have seen pictures of I'm assuming like back when the two were trying to decide who goes first into the hatch and everything. I'm assuming that if we have the girl go first and the dude stays out, he would get the scar on the face instead. Because I think I've seen a screenshot of him with the scar on the face, so I think that's what happens. So I think that's the only, as far as I'm aware, that's the only consequence for that decision, but whatever. So I guess there may be some slight differences in outcomes if you choose other things here, but yeah, so far this is all right. I'm enjoying it. So, all right, I'm gonna cut off here, and I'll continue this another time. There is a new episode out on Star Trek Online. I will try to stream that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. We'll see, because I have to jump in and check out what's going on with that. So, anyway, I'm gonna go now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.